Alright everyone, let's be honest, we've all been there, staring at those overgrown weeds, or that sad-looking plant in the corner, wishing we had a green thumb. But you know what? You don't need to be an expert to have a thriving garden. Sometimes, all it takes is a few clever hacks, and that's what we're diving into today. We're talking about things like creating your own self-watering system. Imagine going on holiday and coming back to happy plants, or even how to multiply your plant babies for free. So, whether you're a complete newbie or you've dabbled in a bit of gardening before, stick around because I promise you'll leave here feeling like a proper green-fingered guru. Let's get stuck in. Right, first up, let's talk drainage, because no matter how much you love your plants, giving them soggy feet is a recipe for disaster. Overwatering is a really common problem, and it's often because the soil isn't draining properly. But how do you know if your soil is up to scratch? Well, that's where the trusty finger test comes in. Just grab a trowel or even use your hand to dig a small hole in your soil, about 6 inches deep. Now, here's the important bit. Fill that hole with water and let it drain completely. Once it's empty, fill it up again. This second time, we're checking how long it takes to drain. If the water drains away within an hour, you're golden. Your soil is doing a grand job. But if it's taking its sweet time, like a couple of hours or even longer, then you've got drainage issues. Adding some organic matter like compost or well-rotted manure can work wonders. Now, let's talk about companion planting. This is one of my favourite gardening hacks because it's like creating a little ecosystem in your garden where plants can look out for each other. One classic example is planting marigolds alongside your tomatoes. Marigolds might look pretty, but they're also secret ninjas when it comes to keeping pests away. They release a scent that deters those pesky whiteflies and nematodes that love to munch on tomatoes. Another great pairing is basil and tomatoes. Not only do they smell amazing together, but basil can actually improve the flavour of your tomatoes. Plus, basil repels aphids and tomato hornworms, those little critters that can wreak havoc on your tomato plants. Some plants, like legumes, have special superpowers when it comes to nitrogen. They can actually pull nitrogen from the air and fix it into the soil, making it available for other plants to use. Experiment with different combinations and see what works best in your garden. Let's be real, we all love a good holiday, but our plants, not so much. Leaving your plants behind can feel like a recipe for disaster, especially if you don't have someone to water them for you. But fear not, my friends, because that's where our next hack comes in. The DIY self-watering system. This is a game changer, especially for those who like to escape on adventures or simply forget to water their plants from time to time. And the best part? It's so easy to make with things you probably already have lying around. All you need is an empty plastic bottle. Give it a good rinse, then grab a sharp object. A nail or a skewer works well, and carefully poke a few small holes in the bottle cap. Now, fill the bottle almost to the top with water and screw that cap on nice and tight. Place your bottle, cap side down, into the hole, and then gently firm the soil around it. And there you have it, your very own self-watering system. Next up, let's talk about starting seeds. Now, you can buy all sorts of fancy seed trays and pots, but sometimes the simplest solutions are right there in your kitchen. Yep, I'm talking about eggshells. Those little shells aren't just for breakfast anymore, they make brilliant biodegradable seed starters. So next time you're making scrambled eggs, Don't chuck those shells in the bin. Rinse them out and let them dry. Once they're dry, carefully crack a small hole in the bottom of each eggshell for drainage. Then, fill each shell almost to the top with seed starting mix. Now, pop your seeds in, following the instructions on the seed packet for planting depth. Once your seeds are snuggled in, give them a gentle watering. Now, place your eggshell seed starters in a sunny spot and watch them grow. Now, let's talk about mulch. I know it might not sound like the most exciting topic, but trust me, mulch is a secret weapon in the garden. It's like tucking your plants into bed with a cozy blanket. Mulching is simply the act of adding a layer of material on top of your soil around your plants. This can be anything from bark chippings or wood chips to straw, compost, or even shredded leaves. Mulch acts like a barrier, preventing moisture from evaporating from the soil. This is especially important during hot, dry spells when your plants need all the moisture they can get. Mulch also helps to regulate soil temperature, keeping it cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. Plus, it helps to suppress weeds, which means less competition for your precious plants. So do yourself and your garden a favor and get mulching. Right, let's talk about planting depth. This might seem like a small detail, but trust me, it can make a world of difference to how well your plants thrive. Just like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, you want to find the just right depth for each plant. If you plant something too shallow, the roots might not establish properly, and the plant could dry out easily. But plant it too deep, and it might struggle to push through the soil, or the stem could rot. Most seed packets or plant labels will tell you the ideal planting depth. It's usually given as a measurement, like plant seeds 1/4 inch deep, or bury the crown of the plant 2 inches below the soil surface. A good rule of thumb is to plant seeds at a depth of 2 to 3 times their diameter. And when it comes to seedlings or established plants, always check the instructions or look it up online. Getting the planting depth right is a simple but crucial step for happy, healthy plants. Now, for our final hack, let's talk about giving your plants a little pick-me-up. And no, I'm not talking about serenading them with your favourite tunes, although they might appreciate that too. I'm talking about coffee grounds. Yep, those leftover coffee grounds from your morning brew aren't just destined for the bin. They can actually give your garden a boost. Coffee grounds are a fantastic source of nitrogen, which is essential for healthy plant growth. They also contain other nutrients like potassium and phosphorus, making them a great all-around fertilizer. Plus, they can help to improve soil drainage and aeration, which is especially beneficial for heavy clay soils. Acid-loving plants like roses, blueberries, and azaleas are particularly fond of a coffee treat. Just sprinkle a handful of coffee grounds around the base of your plants every few weeks and gently work them into the soil. But remember, moderation is key. So, there you have it. 7 simple yet effective gardening hacks that'll have you feeling like a green-thumbed pro in no time. We've covered everything from checking your soil drainage to creating your own self-watering system, and even how to give your plants a coffee boost. But before I let you go, I've got one last bonus tip for you. If you're battling pesky insects in your garden, try making your own natural repellent using garlic and chili peppers. Simply blend a few cloves of garlic and a couple of chilies with water, strain the mixture, and pop it into a spray bottle. This potent concoction will have those bugs running for the hills. Happy growing!